Target market. How do you pick it? What exactly is it? And why it's important to your business? Stick around, we'll tell you all about it. My name is William Walchak. This is Allie Henderson. We're from Hiilite. So first, target market. So the target market is the person that you're targeting demographically. So it's demographic segmentation, geographic segmentation, and psychographic segmentation. What does that actually mean, Allie?
It means who they are, where they're at in their life, and it's the avatar, it's the person that you're talking to, and figuring that out in a deeper way so you actually really understand who you're communicating with.
So why is picking your right target market important?
Because it's insanely expensive in time and money not to. So if you have a product or a service and you realize that it's really catered towards a 75-year-old man, the look, the feel, where you grab their attention, how you communicate with them is going to be very different than if your product and service is actually catered to a 16-year-old girl. Everything from your branding, your logo, the way your website functions, the user experience, it's very different depending on who your target audience actually is, as well as when you're doing some paid advertising or driving some campaigns to this audience. You know, if it's a 16-year-old girl, she's gonna be on Snapchat. If it's a 75-year-old man, chances are he's not.
You interface with so many different kinds of businesses. When you see it go wrong, where you see people come in and say, I wanna go after this kind of client, how often does it happen and what are the signs of it?
It actually happens a lot, and when they're seeing it through their eyes versus actually stepping into the user's shoes and realizing that, you know, so often people will come to us with some branding ideas or some ideas as to who's going to be using the product based on their perception of it.
You have a business background, so give me an example of what you did and why the target audience maybe needed an adjustment.
Sure. So I started a company called Temple Foods, and we were a meal prep and delivery service, and it was inspired by healthy foods, making it convenient. And as I envisioned this company, I just thought it would be people like me, you know, people who cared about their health. But as I actually make my business work, the cost was a huge component to it, where the demographic that actually was my demographic was somebody who was wealthier, valued time, convenience. They weren't where I was initially putting my marketing. So it costed me a lot in terms of dollars in my ad spend, you know, putting things out to the yoga community, where that actually wasn't where my audience was. They were really in higher levels of finance, lawyers, business owners. So where I put my marketing and where I put my ad spend was completely off the mark.
Geographic targeting is how far are we willing to go to deliver our product or service? Can we ship it? Is it something we provide on site? That also helps target where are we going to spend ads? Or is it going to be a billboard? Is it going to be Facebook ads? Is it going to be whatever else? And psychographic is really understanding the mindset of the person to make sure that they are in a place, or we can put them into a place where they're actually considering our product or service. So some of the things that we ask is look at your current customer base. So if you're an established business, look at your current customer base, and this is what you did. And then you learn, okay, the yogis are not the right people to be doing this, but you did find people who were interested, right? Check out your competition. There are people who have already been doing this, so meal prep or food delivery, sometimes geographically that may not work because there's another competitor or there's something else happening. Look at what they're doing. Sometimes they're gonna be easy to compete against because they don't have some skill or access to something that you may, and that may expose some sort of vulnerability. Or it may position you in a slightly different way and say, okay, I'm actually gonna go into a different market altogether. Analyze your product or service. So did you change the way you did things since you started?
Yeah, as I learned that my demographic was a higher net worth person who really valued convenience, time. They weren't so worried about the dollar. We would just do little things that really accommodated and spoke to that person. Instead of having, you know, napkins and their little to-goes that were to be put in the garbage, they were ones that you could wash, and they'd give them to us and we would wash them for them. So some higher touch point value adds that we would do because we knew that that's what that demographic actually appreciated. And then in terms of actually speaking to that demographic, we knew how to target them. I knew they weren't going to be going to yoga classes as much as they would be at some social networking events, fundraising things. So it allowed my marketing direction and my marketing ad spend to also be allocated a lot better.
Perfect. So when thinking about a marketing strategy, your target market is an extremely important component of that. If you have any questions, reach out to us. If you need to know more about how to pick your demographic, geographic, or psychographic information and target audience, or if you've gotten it horribly wrong and you want to share some fun stories, you can find me at william.walchak on Instagram. And Allie, you are?
Allie Henderson _.
And she's famous. Thanks so much. Hope to talk to you soon. This series was filmed at Hiilite Creative Group Studio in Kelowna, British Columbia, Canada, and is made with the help of our creative team. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel and check us out at hiilite.com.